Hey, what up, y'all? This is Astro here doing the moon reading for September 10th, 2018. I'm late with this one. I'm sorry. I had a lot going on this weekend, but regardless, you're going to get it before. It's September 10th, most likely. Maybe. If you're in the U.S., yeah. Sorry, y'all. But I hope you find this helpful, okay? So, let's get to it. So, September 10th, 2018, 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. The moon is going to be in 23 degrees Virgo, still in that new moon swag, okay? I suggest you to definitely do some new moon intentions if you want to kind of focus yourself on more of a Virgoian vibe. And even if you don't want a more Virgoian vibe, if you just want to address some things about your everyday life, everyday task, everyday routine, this is a good time to use this energy to manifest, right? So that's number one. But number two, the moon is going to move over to the third decan of Virgo to the first decan of Libra. And so we're going to be talking about that. So let's at first talk about it moving to the third decan of Virgo, or it being in the third decan of Virgo. So third decan of Virgo is Venusian. Okay. And so, yes, you are focused on your everyday life, your everyday task, and all that shit. But you have a deeper, like, the main goal for this is kind of embodying beauty and, luxury and comfort into this. Living your best life and not going back and forth with anybody. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of getting more of that vibe to it. Also, what's really important is you're doing, focusing on your everyday task, routine, and the details and shit like that. When it pertains to your money as well, and in an emotional sense, to your self-worth. What little detailed things or routine things you need to do to build yourself up. Let you realize that, hey, it doesn't matter what other people think. It matters what I think. I can't talk. Do you need to do like daily affirmations? Do you need to exercise to kind of get you motivated and ramp you up? Shit like that. Okay. So it's really a very interesting and probably more easygoing, Virgo decant. So that's what we're going to be feeling in the beginning. But around like 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast of the USA, the moon's going to be in Libra, the first decan of Libra, and it's the Venusian decan of Libra too. So this whole idea of, really focusing on not only your self-worth and the material worth, but also focusing on how you relate to others on an emotional level. So you're kind of switching from a Taurus Venusian vibe to more of a Libran Venusian vibe. You're focusing more, and at the same time, you're focusing, your first focus is going to be on a more detailed type of sense of kind of working through the details of your emotions and kind of working through things that you want to focus on, not things you want to focus on, but like how you emotionally want to focus on your everyday life. And you're going to switch it over slightly to how you emotionally want to connect with people on a one-on-one basis, to really vibe with them, to get cool people that you're compatible with. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the first decan of Libra is all about. Like, yes, relating to others on a one-on-one basis, whether it's romantic or platonic, but doing it on a compatible vibing type of level. You know what I mean? Really having a meeting of the minds and really be emotionally fulfilled by that. You know what I mean? So it's going to do like a switcheroo, which is interesting. So what I'm going to do is talk about the possible aspects that could be happening. So let's first talk about when the moon is maybe in the third decan of A Virgo, let's focus on like if it's on 25 degrees Virgo, okay? If it's 25 degrees Virgo, it is still conjunct the sun. So, you have the light is really bright on your emotions, and you really relating to your emotions and connecting with your emotions, and really wanting to focus on the detail of your emotions to, not even the details of your emotions. Like, yeah, it could be that, but you be emotionally fulfilled by focusing on your everyday life routines and tasks and stuff like that, and the details of your life to make it better. But again, since the moon will be in the third decan while the sun is in the second decan of Virgo, your emotions are really focused on the beautification of your everyday task, and how you get more money to do your everyday task and your work environment and stuff like that, and how can you build yourself up through that, you know what I mean? And that's how you get your beauty, through those two things. You get what I'm saying? So that's really interesting. Another aspect I see, this moon will be aspecting Jupiter, so it's definitely expanding on your emotions, on like trying to trying to like beautify your everyday life, by like focusing on the details of it. But you're also kind of like trying to think big picture. Okay, like what philosophies, what ideas, what beliefs, what religions could help me get to there. The interesting thing is that eventually, the moon is not going to be aspecting Jupiter in the middle of the day, but it's going to be relationship focused, while Jupiter is in Scorpio, which is a relationship focus, but more on an emotional bond type of level. And so you're going to kind of maybe get an idea, belief, a philosophy on how people really transform into one and become one soul and emerge into each other in relationships. And it's going to inspire you eventually in the middle of the day. You're going to have like a eureka moment on how you can use that philosophy for you to better relate with people. Maybe not on a deep emotional level, like Scorpio may ask, but more on you kind of will like dumb it down and make it help you, be emotionally fulfilled by relating to others on more of a compatible level, a more regular, like chill level, a more vibing type of level. You get what I'm saying? This moon will be also trining Pluto, and with that aspect, it is deeply connected to the relationships, emotional bonding, because it's Pluto. Pluto's represented by Scorpio. But the thing is, it's like, how will this relationship help me gain my authority? Whether through the relationships or gain my authority in general through other things, like in a career and through reputation or status or whatever. But how can I use these ideas? How can I be emotionally fulfilled by being empowered through taking my own authority and getting the status that I want, whatever that status is. If it's a status through a relationship, through a job, through whatever. You know what I mean? Through, a group. You have to kind of see where Pluto is in your chart to see how it applies. You know what I mean? That moon will also be opposite Neptune. And with that, like, you're emotionally being, in the earlier part of the day, of course, in tune with your intuition, but it's being a little confusing because, you emotionally want to focus on the details, on the earthly things, on your everyday routine, which is fine. But the thing is, with Neptune being retrograde in Pisces, we really need to focus and sharpen our intuition to connect with the guides and our angels and our spirits. But the thing is, you're kind of really focusing on the 3D everyday life stuff. Or you maybe even focus on spirituality, but you're being too detailed and seeing it in too much of a practical way, an earthly way. What the thing is that, Neptune in Pisces, especially retrograde, is nothing like the earth. Neptune in Pisces represents the unknown, the universal unconsciousness, what's out there in the universe that's totally different from Earth. And so you can't compare earthly like things to things that are not like earth. It's like comparing apples to oranges. So you kind of have to get out of that earthly mind if you want to really sharpen your intuition. Use the earth shit for earth shit, and use the spiritual shit for spiritual shit, the intuitive shit to a spiritual shit. You get what I'm saying? But let's switch over as if the moon will be in Libra. I'll do it if it's move it over. Hold on one second, y'all. If it's in 5 degrees Libra, okay? So that's around like 9 o'clock p.m. my time. So if the moon's in 5 degrees Libra, it's kind of getting out of those aspects that I mentioned before and into the aspects I'm about to mention now. And some of the aspects that I am mentioning now, it can kind of like, it was making those aspects when it was in Virgo too. But let me continue, okay? Now, this moon will be sextile North Node. And so, it's interesting because fire and air goes well, but Leo and Libra have some differences for sure. Leo is all about self-expression, creation, the things that you create, your children, you know what I mean? How you have fun. So it's very self-involved. And, with Libra, it's more about relationships, relating to one another, really understanding the minds of another person and letting them understand your mind. Just honestly, relationships and relating to other people and being compatible and stuff like that. And you may say like, they kind of don't match, but they do, because they both just kind of want things to be light, to have fun, for things to not be that fucking serious. And so that's how they get along. And so while you're trying to create, through your, your life path is focusing on your self-expression and how you create in general. This moon is saying that, okay, you mostly want to be inspired by others. You want to be inspired by the relationships that you have, whether romantic or platonic. You really want to understand their mind, hope that it inspires you in that way and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of the energy that's flowing there. You're really learning in different aspects on how people think about things to kind of help you understand not only your emotions, but also your life path and how you need to go about your life path. You know what I mean? This moon is going to be squaring Saturn, which is quite interesting. Your emotions, you again want to focus on relationships. You want to focus on kind of being more logical and really just understanding people, vibing with people, letting them understand you and you understand them, and just have an easy flow of information and communication and just happiness, just truly relating with people well. While Saturn is honestly focused on taking your authority within the status, reputation, and career that you have. And so they're not really caring about kind of relating to others. Like, yes, they understand that's important, but they're kind of like, okay, but what can I get from that? I don't really just want to learn about what people got to say. What if what they got to say has nothing to do with me? Saturn is being a little bit more direct, while Libras kind of want energies to be like free flowing and just letting things flow to see if it relates to them. The Capricorn Saturn energy is like, nah, cut the shit. What's going to be important for me? So that's kind of the energy that's going on, and there's going to be some disagreement with how you feel emotionally compared to what you feel you need to do to take your authority. So it is going to be some odds there, okay? However, this moon is going to be trine Mars. Mars is going to, in the later days of September 10th, going to be in 0 degrees Aquarius, which is interesting. With Mars being in Aquarius again, the energy is not going to be, kind of be in a like direct practical way, which is represented by Capricorn. Like Capricorn is cardinal and earth, so they kind of do things in like the practical, way of like take 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, but they're initiating it. They're going along with the plan. The thing is with the Mars and Aquarius, like they have all this drive and motivation to do things, but they're still in their mind. They're thinking about, okay, yes, I'm focused on this one subject. That's the fixed energy of Aquarius, right? But then they break that subject down to sub-subjects and they don't stop. And they keep going and thinking, and they're not going along with their plan because they're too focused on decompartmentalizing this big subject that they want to focus on. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting energy. It's a great energy to brainstorm, not the best energy to move forward along things, because remember, this is fixed and it's air, so that they're thinking and they're brainstorming, but they're not moving things along. So quite interesting energy. You're like, how you're going to be moving along, like your brainstorming power is going to be strong. You're going to be driven and motivated to really do this brainstorming type of thing. But again, like you probably are not going to move along with these plans, which is quite interesting because like with Mars energy, like Mars been retrograde for a while. Mars wants to get shit done. And you technically are getting shit done in your mind, but you're not taking the physical action, which like the natural leader of Mars is Aries. Like they want to actually take the action. They want to think about it. They want to do. So the energy is going to be a little bit interesting, but you're going to be emotionally fulfilled by doing this brainstorming because you are not only thinking with your mind, but you're using your emotions with this too. So very interesting energy there as well. This mood will also be opposite Chiron. Wow. So again, with Chiron being in Aries, this Chiron is focused on, dealing with the childhood traumas or emotional traumas that you experienced as a kid, then dealing with your personality persona, your appearance, and kind of like the mask that you put up for people to see. You know what I mean? But your emotions are not really wanting to focus on those. Your emotions, you want to focus on relationships. And so you have this kind of yearning to really heal yourself and from the past on how you were judged upon these things or ridiculed upon these things when it comes to like personality, persona, and appearance. But your emotions are like, no, I want to focus on relationships though, and relating with people and talking with people. And so again, you're going to have this kind of fight between that. And then lastly, this moon is going to be in conjunct to Uranus. The energy is not as rough as a square or an opposite, but it definitely has some annoyances for sure because you want to, when it comes to your like individuality and your uniqueness, you're really trying to understand the worth of it, how it's connected to your self-worth, how can it make you money, how can you utilize it to make people appreciate you, and how can you utilize it for you to make your uniqueness, how you can utilize your uniqueness so you can appreciate yourself a little bit more. Again, this moon doesn't really want to focus on self and want to focus on relating with others. So it's not as annoying and not as out there as an opposite or a square, but you're going to start being slightly annoyed because of this energy. So that's what I got for y'all. I hope this was helpful. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, care, and all that good stuff. And I wish you the best. I'm going to have the Astro Tarot reading soon. I promise. Okay. If you've seen the Aries reading, I had a interesting summer. So I'll be there. Okay. I promise. I'll try to have them up by this week. Okay. All right. Love y'all. Okay. Peace.